Hi, it's James.
And I'm Joy, and we're back to tell you about what's hitting shelves this February.
And as always, our very favorite reads of the month.
So let's get started. So first up, we're talking about Break the Fall. There are so many cool things happening in this book, especially if you're a fan of the Olympics. Break the Fall follows Audrey Lee, recovering from spinal surgery and chasing down her dream to compete in the Olympics with her best friend Emma. Both of them have made the United States gymnastics team, and the stakes are high.
So high.
So high. So that's when some horrifying news breaks and begins to rip the team apart. Audrey is forced to make some really hard decisions, and the pressure is only mounting as the games approach. So my 3 words for this book are intense, emotional, and thrilling. And it hits shelves February 18th.
So next up, we have The Last Confession of Autumn Casterly. This is a twisty thriller about 2 sisters that's perfect for fans of One of Us is Lying. The first sister is Autumn Casterly. She's tough as nails, and honestly, she's a type of classmate in high school whom you don't want to cross.
Oof.
On the other hand, Autumn's younger sister, Ivy, is basically my new best friend because she's a band geek and she's super into Star Wars.
You guys would get along.
Yep, perfectly. Her favorite Star Wars movie is Rogue One, while mine's The Last Jedi, but, you know, she and I would still have a lot to talk about. So when Autumn is attacked and held hostage, she leaves her body, and Ivy is the only one who can feel her presence. So the book does have like the tiniest vibe of magical realism.
That does sound a little bit magical.
A little bit, but it's truly a contemporary thriller. And the focus is on Ivy as she races to find Autumn and uncover the painful secrets that brought Autumn to where she is. This book is dark, gritty, and unforgettable, and it's out on February 11th.
Good words.
Thank you.
So next up, we're talking about Alice by Heart. Okay, musical theater fans, we're talking to you because this next one was written by the one and only Steven Zader, who both wrote the show Alice by Heart and also wrote Broadway's Spring Awakening. In case you're totally new to the show and the book, Alice by Heart is the story of a girl who takes refuge in a London tube station during World War II. During her time there, she finds herself confronting grief, loss, and even first love with the help of her favorite book, Alice in Wonderland. So my 3 words for this one are hopeful, creative, and transformative, and it comes out February 4th.
So next up, we have Reveling. So quick question for you, Joy. What would you do if you woke up and found that a sentient cybernetic dragon had imprinted on you?
I don't know, James. I would probably do a lot of things. I have a dragon now.
There's so many things you can do with a dragon, and to be honest, I'd probably just fly around the world a lot. I mean, isn't that what Aragon did with Saphira when they first met?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the predicament that prep school student and teen smuggler Prudence Wu finds herself in after a smuggling drop gone wrong.
Ooh.
Prue is quickly drafted into the weapons program that developed the dragon, whose name is Reveling. And Prue reluctantly agrees to pilot Reveling. The world building is one of the many things I love about this book. Prue and her friends live in an alternate future version of Washington, D.C., which is one of the last few independent cities in North America. The book has a political conspiracy vibe as Prue and her crew defend their city as a last bastion of democracy. And also, we really need more sci-fi with Asian protagonists, and Prue is a sassy and smart character whom you want to fight alongside of, or just be friends with.
She sounds cool, right?
She's so cool. This book is exciting, sincere, and anime-fueled because it's perfect for anime fans.
We love that.
We love that a lot. And it's out on February 25th.
So next up, we're talking about 4 Dead Queens, and this is the book everyone was talking about last year when it looked like this, but now it's back with a brand new paperback cover, and I think I like it even more than the original one.
This one's really cool to look
Like, this is really cool. Yeah. We love this, but I really like this look. If you've been under a rock, 4 Dead Queens is the story of Kara Lee, a thief in the city of Quadara, where she gets wrapped up in a pretty massive conspiracy.
It's pretty big, yeah.
Pretty massive, when the 4 queens who rule Quadara start dropping like flies. It's a twisty adventure, and if you haven't jumped in yet, now's the time because glow up. My 3 words for this one are gripping, twisty, and royal, and it's out February 11th.
Next up, we have The Blossom and the Firefly. This is a historical romance that's perfect for fans of Salt to the Sea and The Fountains of Silence. The book is set in 1945 Japan during the final months of World War II, and it follows 2 Japanese teens who are caught in the quagmire of war. 15-year-old Hana is a member of a youth war group that tends to the Toko, who are Japanese special attack pilots. She bears the trauma of nearly being buried alive during an air raid until one day she hears the sound of a violin. 17-year-old Taro is one of the Toko pilots who is about to embark on his first and only kamikaze mission. But he cannot let go of his love for playing his violin, which is what brings him to Hana. This book reminds me so much of The Fountains of Silence in particular, because the chapters are short and punchy and they're told in alternate POVs from both Taro and Hana. As their romance steadily builds, you can't help but wonder whether their love can survive the war. This book is enveloping, tragic, and enduring, and it's out on February 18th.
All right, so next up we're talking about more paperbacks, and I'm so glad I get to talk about this one because it's an Emily and Austin book. And if you aren't familiar with Emily and Austin, I'm referring to these two authors whose names are right here. They happen to be a picture-perfect YA couple themselves.
They're married in real life.
It's so cute.
Yeah.
We call them Wabroka because it's a combination of their names. If you love Shakespeare retellings like 10 Things I Hate About You, this is for you, and it's Taming of the Shrew. Meet Cameron Bright. She has pretty much everything and is very well known for being less than pleasant, which is not the best way to win over her crush, so Cameron resolves to tame herself by making amends with everyone she's wronged, and that includes this guy named Brendan, and that's where things get complicated. This book is hilarious, romantic, and summery, because California, and it's out February 4th.
It's also just so cute in paperback. Just look at it.
Look at this cover.
Also out in paperback this month, we have Fire Color 1. So as you can see on the cover, this is Iris. She's a 16-year-old pyromaniac, and she's just moved from LA to London after setting too many fires, like literally.
Okay.
Yeah. Her dad is a millionaire with a priceless art collection, but Iris has never met him. When Iris is forced to live with her dad as part of an exploitative scheme by her mother, it's a very long story, Iris soon finds out that her dad isn't the man she was raised to hate. This book is about the power of art to change lives, and that's why I think it's transformative, persuasive, and burning with beauty.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. I did it on purpose. And it's out on February 4th.
So here's to the Stranger Things fans.
Hi.
And, yes, me included. And those of us who believe certain characters deserved better in season 3, but I'm not bitter. All right, so if you're still getting over it like I am, you should try out When the Sky Fell on Splendor by Emily Henry, which is now in paperback. And this is the story of a small town in Ohio where funny things start to happen when a local steel mill explodes. Years later, the town is still recovering when The Ordinary, a group of kids who use their free time to investigate local ghost stories and legends, get something on camera that could just about change everything. So my 3 words for this one are strange, supernatural, and friendship. This one hits shelves February 18th.
It's so Stranger Things.
Very Stranger Things. Look at the cover.
Fans of unreliable narrators, take note, because this psychological thriller is out in paperback this month. Ella Black is 17, and she has a dark side, aka an alter ego that she names Bad Ella, or Bella for short. One day, her parents show up at her school and whisk her across the globe to Brazil with no believable explanation. Ella fears that her parents are hiding something, and she's right. And once she discovers the truth, she runs away from them. She must find the grit to survive on the streets of Brazil as she searches for answers about who she really is. This book plays with language and sentences in a really interesting way, and readers will enjoy trying to put the pieces together just as Ella works to determine what her truth is. This book is enticing, fast-paced, and brave, and it's out on February 11th.
So next up we are talking about the final book in Leslie Livingston's The Valiant trilogy, and it's now in paperback, The Triumphant. The final book in the Valiant series takes Fallon and her warrior sisters on an epic journey from the corrupt Roman Republic to the wonder of the ancient world, Alexandria, Egypt. However, along the way, Fallon will have to decide just where her heart truly belongs, as well as what and who she's willing to sacrifice to get there. My 3 words for this one are strong, epic, and closure, because it's the last one. And the paperback is out February 18th.
So would you say this is a triumphant arrival
Stop
in
it.
paperback?
Stop it. No, stop it. But yes, it is. So now we're talking about our picks of the month.
For February.
And what is yours?
Mine is The Queen's Assassin by Melissa de la Cruz. So this has all the courtly intrigue of The Cruel Prince without the sadistic fairies.
There are a lot of those.
There's a lot of them. And it also has the forbidden romance that you love from Serpent and Dove. Caledon Holt is the Queen's assassin. His late father swore an unbreakable oath to protect the Queen of Renovia, but now Cal is bound by magic to serve the Queen until he recovers the Daean scrolls, which can redefine the way magic works in Renovia. Cal soon finds a companion in Shadow. Shadow yearns for a life of adventure protecting her country, but her mother and her aunts expect her to serve as a royal lady in the court. But when Cal lands in prison, Shadow runs away from home, liberates Cal from prison, and joins him in his quest. In many ways, this is a classic fantasy quest story. Cal and Shadow serve as spies and special operatives as they travel to a neighboring kingdom where they must unravel a conspiracy to destroy Renovia from within. Cal and Shadow are never sure about who their enemies are, so this book has a lot of the political plotting and backstabbing of the Cruel Prince. Also, Cal and Shadow's romance, which builds over time, is swoon-worthy. It's a slow burn romance because Shadow initially trains with Cal in sword fighting and stealth, and the many other things that you need to know to become an assassin. But as they travel together, they grow a lot closer. There's this one hilarious scene where they're camping in the forest, and when they wake up, they're accidentally in each other's arms.
Awkward.
Awkward. But their duty to their kingdom might come between their growing feelings for each other, especially with the way this book ends. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh.
This is the first in a duology, and the book's ending perfectly sets up the sequel and will leave you pining for book 2. In other words, as soon as you finish reading this book, DM us immediately, because I need more people to talk about that ending with. This book is totally romantic, can't miss, and stunning because just look at this cover.
It's got a really good cover.
And there's colors and the black, oh, I love
Black
it so much.
roses. Look at that.
Yeah. This is out on February 4th.
Okay, so this is totally cheating, but I don't care. It counts. I picked Lovely War by Julie Berry, and now technically, it came out last year in March, but the paperback hits shelves this month, so I'm counting it, and I swear I didn't just pick it for its stellar cover, though I think I'd be justified.
It does still count for February, and just look at that cover.
Pretty.
Look at it.
So, Lovely War is not your average historical fiction. There are Greek gods running the show, and it's amazing. As an avid Hadestown fan, I approve. This is a World War II love story that reveals the heart-wrenching reality of war, while also playing with the idea of what role fate plays in our lives. Here are some of the reasons that I love it. 1, it's hard to get bored when there are not 1, not 2, but over 3 storylines running through this book. Julie Berry has such a way with words that I was never confused or lost about what was going on, but there are 2 amazing love stories, a trial with the gods, and it's a whole experience. 2, I'm a total sucker for Greek mythology, and if you are too, you will extra appreciate the banter between the Greek gods as they're watching the mortals stumbling through life down below. I was obsessed. Obsessed.
Gods are still real people. Yeah.
And 3, the voice. This book is written from the POV of Aphrodite, and her voice adds such a personality and lens through which to watch the story unfold that I find myself repeatedly going back and rereading the lines because they're either really clever or really funny, and it all just perfectly balances out all the pain that you'll feel in your heart after this book breaks it. So TLDR, I read this book last year, and it's stuck with me ever since, and it's also got 7-starred reviews, by the way, so do not sleep on this book. My 3 words for this one are enticing, clever, and lovely.
See what you did there.
Do you get it? Okay,
Yeah.
so it's out February 4th. Thanks for joining us.
We'll be back next month to tell you all about our March books.
And remember to let us know which February book you're most excited for down in the comments.
Bye.
Bye.